Okay, so I present you how we transformed a university course into a two-public sustainable MOOC. And the MOOC that we produced is classified in the high corner of the classification that you proposed. So what's the context? We had a mature traditional course about programming that is taught to second-year bachelor students at university for engineering students. So we had that. That course was taught since 2005. And then when our university entered the edX project, we thought about which courses will go on edX. And for that course, we wanted to go into the new way to teach. And so we decided to transform that course into a MOOC. But because we had no experience at all in MOOCs, we decided to do it gradually. So we worked following 3 steps. So the motivations that we had for that project is that transforming a course into a MOOC would allow us to reach 2 publics. So we have our students, on-site students, and then the worldwide students. That was one of the goals, with almost the same effort and resource. Then we expected to have more interaction, to open a possibility for interaction between our on-site students and worldwide students, so between the 2 publics that we wanted to reach. And the third motivation is to offer a new means of education to our local students, to make them aware of the existence of MOOCs, because a lot of people still don't know what MOOC. So the migration was spread over 3 academic semesters to cope with the limited human resource that we had for that project and for our staff to gain experience with MOOC creation, MOOC animation, and so on. So that's a summary of the scheme that we followed. So you can see here that we started, so 2005 to 2012, the course was only on-site, a traditional course on-site. It's a 5 credits course, only for the on-site students. Then in a first step, what we made is we built a SPOC in fall 2013. So that SPOC was dedicated for our local students. And as you can see, the SPOC is only 3 credits. So we took a part of the 5 credits original course, and then we built a SPOC for 3 credits. And that year, so in fall 2013, our on-site students were following part of the course on the MOOC, and then they had additionally some traditional lecture with the professor and exercises laboratory. So we had some kind of hybrid approach there, where the on-site students have to follow a part of the material on a MOOC, on a SPOC, and part of the material in a traditional way. So that was the first step into the MOOC world for the staff. And then that SPOC was opened in spring 2014 as a MOOC, and open to worldwide students, only for them. So as you can see, you have only the worldwide students for that first edition of the MOOC. So that was the opportunity for the staff in that step to learn how to run a MOOC, how to animate a MOOC, how to teach to worldwide students. So the experience there was good. And so in the next step, fall 2014, what we had 2 MOOCs, because 5 credits for 1 MOOC is too much. Students will just drop out. So we have 2 MOOCs. And those 2 MOOCs are followed now by on-site students and worldwide students at the same time. So they are following the same course, and all the material of the course is completely covered by those 2 MOOCs. So that's the idea. So 2 publics. So we now have 2 publics for the course. The first is the on-site learners. They have to follow the MOOC, the 2 MOOCs, they have to. And how do we kind of force them to follow the MOOCs. The first reason is that all the materials is only covered by the MOOCs. So if they don't follow the MOOC, they have to find material elsewhere or read the book, the traditional MIT book, which is 600 pages, to match. And we also have a +2, -2 incentive. So if they are doing well in the MOOC, if they do all the exercises, if they succeed the final exam, they will get +2 for their final grade for that course, and -2 if they do nothing. So it's a way to force them to follow that. And we observed this year that, in fact, it also helped the students to get ready for the proctored exam, because they still have a proctored exam for the course at the end of the semester. We are not only using the exam that is on edX to give them the final grade, because of university rule we can't do that. Then the second public, the worldwide learners, is split in two categories. You have worldwide students, but you also have worldwide professionals. So we can observe that when we look at the discussions on the forums. We see that we have people who already have experience in programming, but they are coming here to see that course because it brings them different aspects or university aspects. Maybe sometimes it's people that was not at university, but they want to see how we can learn programming at university. And those two publics, three publics in fact, has different motivations. Of course, the students only want to have the +2, and the professionals want really to discover the material and follow the MOOC. So it's difficult to build the MOOC because we have two different motivations, two different requirements. Our students have time in their schedule to work on the MOOC. Professionals maybe do that after midnight when they come back from work. So it's difficult. And for that reason, we need to keep some specific activities for our on-site students, because we are lowering the requirements on the MOOC to satisfy the worldwide learners, but our students still have to have a university course with all the implications. So we still have some practical laboratories face-to-face, and the professor is still giving 1 hour lesson a week, because it's a bachelor course and we have to teach it in French, but the MOOC is in English, so we have to cope with that. Sustainability, that's one of the key points of that talk. Of course, we are not going to build a MOOC just to build it 1 year and then throw it out. So initially, the cost, of course, was large. So we have extra charge for the professor to build all the videos, to break up the course into modules. Extra research assistant, because we had to create coding exercises. It's a MOOC about programming, so we have to build coding exercises, to build a grader to put on the edX platform to automatically correct all those exercises. And then we had an extra MOOC assistant at the beginning, of course, to build the MOOC, to animate the MOOC during the running. That was for the first year. Then for the second edition, we only needed half MOOC assistant. And the role of that half assistant was to update the exercises, because we took into account the feedback from the previous year, to update the exercises, to get them better, to update the feedback, the automatic feedback of our coding exercise platform, and to animate the MOOC, of course, when it was running. And then, for the fall 2015 that started just a few days ago, no more additional MOOC assistant. So that's good. I will explain the trick later on. We have a trick to do that. You're all waiting for the trick, of course. So let me show you the evolution for the on-site course. So it was what required. We will focus on the resource part that is required for our on-site course. So before the MOOC transformation, we have 1 professor for the course, 4 teaching assistants, and then 11 student monitors. So it's a course given to 300 students, and they are working in small groups with a student monitor for the exercise part. So that was initially. Then you have the MOOC assistant coming there, the half MOOC assistant there. And what happened in 2015 is that among the 4 teaching assistants, one of them was transformed into the MOOC assistant. So we only have now 3 teaching assistants to manage the correction of the exams, to manage the student monitors, etc. But in exchange of losing 1 teaching assistant, in fact, we gain 1 student monitor. So we now have 3 teaching assistants and 12 student monitors. So what is good for us is that 1 teaching assistant is something like 30k euro, but 1 student monitor is 500 euro. So you see that there, the cost, the final difference in cost is just 500 euros. That's the trick. So the hybrid approach that we would choose to follow here, we chose it to make, of course, the MOOC sustainable, gradually spreading the transformation over 3 academic semesters. The experience that we had was very satisfactory. So the on-site course, for now, will stay a MOOC for the foreseeable future. So that was decided. Only 1 extra student monitor, that's the final extra cost after 3 academic semesters of transformation. And we already have 30 verified certificates generated. It's also good because we are starting to have people following the course to have verified certificates. That maybe one day, we don't know, the professor could earn something with that, which will be some bonus for him for all the efforts that he made during 3 years. And so to conclude, in our view, one possible sustainable evolutions of MOOC is that kind of permanent transformation of selected university course, because it's not applicable for all university course. If you take a course that is evolving every year because it's changing, because the course is maybe about actuality, you can't do that, of course. Here we have a programming course that was already mature, that will not change much every year. So that's a course that we can transform into a MOOC that will be sustainable. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think that we have time for 1 question. Okay, please.
You talked about sort of the interactions between your 2 publics. Did you find that this was very beneficial for your on-site students to be able to interact with these professionals? Were they learning a lot from them on the forums or through those interactions?
So this year, that was one of the motivations. We expected them to interact, but this year we observed that there were just no interaction. So in fact, our on-site students continue to use the traditional techniques. They have their local Facebook account group. They are not using the discussion forum that is on the edX platform, discussing with all the learners. So maybe we have to try to find a technique to encourage them to go, because it's a goal that we want to, but difficult.
Okay. So thank you.